You back to Black Site tonight. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders possibly being cut or traded. First, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit that notification button, but also comment on this video. I told you in several videos that I thought the Cleveland Browns were going to cut or trade Shedeur Sanders. This team never wanted Shedeur Sanders. They were forced to take him by Roger Goodell because the NFL, when it came under extreme pressure by the fans and the black community, if he did not get drafted, a lot of people when it came through and said that the NFL was colluding against Shedeur Sanders and the Sanders family. So Roger Goodell asked Jimmy Haslam to do him a favor and draft him in the fifth round. But also, they received pressure from President Trump. So they had no choice but to draft him. But they drafted him to humiliate him and the Sanders family. And this is what they're doing in front of the American public right now, humiliating a young man who should have been drafted in the first round. That's why Dylan Gabriel had enough confidence to say what he said about Shedeur Sanders because he knew he possibly would not be on the 53-man roster, that he would possibly be cut or traded. Kevin Stefanski has already sat down and talked to Dylan Gabriel about this whole situation. And now, if they trade or cut Shedeur Sanders, it's all going to be on Andrew Berry's back. And that's what Jimmy Haslam did when he said Andrew Berry drafted him. Now, Andrew Berry has to answer all the questions from the media, not Kevin Stefanski and not Jimmy Haslam. We know they really have five quarterbacks on their staff because Deshaun Watson is hurt and they got to pay him $230 million. But they're starting Flacco and probably Dylan Gabriel is going to be the backup and Pickett's going to be the third string until he gets healthy. So Shedeur Sanders has always been on the man that's out when it becomes being a quarterback. They started him the first game hoping that he would fall on his face, but he didn't. So they have put him in a situation where they will either have to cut him or they will have to trade him. And let me tell you something. The best thing that can happen to this young man is get the hell out of Cleveland. Because let me tell you something, that organization does not want him. And you could tell by the way Kevin Stefanski never talked or congratulated him after the first game. They won it 30-10. He had a spectacular game, led the team to three touchdowns, two passing touchdowns, but he said nothing about it. But in the second game, when Dylan Gabriel threw the interception, he blamed the wide receiver. We know the head coach is golfing buddies with Dan Lanning, the head coach of Oregon. We all know that right now, but they had no room for Shedeur Sanders because usually when you draft one quarterback, especially when you have two veteran quarterbacks you already brought in. So you were investing in Dylan Gabriel. You were never going to invest in Shedeur Sanders. He was a personal pick from Roger Goodell to Jimmy Haslam to save the NFL from embarrassing themselves in front of the American public. So now this young man is on the outside looking in. I hope they trade him. I hope he shows up for the third game and plays so they can either release him. Because if they cut him, somebody's going to pick him up. He's not going to be on the Browns practice squad. But the humiliation part about this, to what they want to do to the Sanders family and do to Shedeur, is absolutely disgusting. And this is what the NFL is trying to do. Teach these black male fathers, teach these families a lesson. If you don't play by the game, you will be treated just like the Sanders family. Now, if he had a single mother, oh, they'll be loving him. But since he's Then with his father, since his father raised him, since they have their own podcast, his brother, since they are a successful, loving black family, you can't have that in America because that's not the picture that they want to show America. So Haslam wants to teach this family a lesson. And Andrew Berry is going to have to answer all the questions after next week's game when they get down to the 53-man roster. What are you going to do with Shedeur Sanders? Because I don't believe the Browns are going to carry four quarterbacks. It's too many roster positions. You need that extra roster position for a receiver, defensive back, defensive lineman. You need that position. So they can either put him on the market or they can release him and they'll lose no money. But what will happen is the Browns will be the outcast of the league, especially in the black community. And I want to see what the black fans in Cleveland are going to do. Yes, they have Deshaun Watson, but he has been a complete failure in Cleveland. And plus, he's coming back from an Achilles tear. People love this young man. He's box office. He's making millions of dollars for himself and the Browns. And I don't know if the Browns can basically let him go, but I believe they want him out of that building. And they want him out of that building as quick as possible. I'm telling you right now, they never wanted this kid. You can just look at Kevin Stefanski's face, his body language, and everything that this kid was not even wanted in the NFL. Because if you telling me Tyler Shaw is a better quarterback in New Orleans Saints than Shedeur Sanders, something is wrong with you. They had Tyler Shaw, Spencer Rattler as their quarterback. You telling me they're better than Shedeur Sanders? No, they're not. You telling me the Jets situation that he couldn't step in and be a nice young quarterback for the Jets? Look at the Colts situation. They got Daniel Jones and Richardson. One is a failed quarterback in the Giants, and the other one can't stay healthy. You telling me they didn't want Shedeur? They all sat around at the owners meeting talking about how they was gonna stick it to the Sanders family, and they colluded together, and they did it. I'm telling you now, this is what happened in that room. It is sad that his sister DeAndre had to say some things. Dion hasn't said anything, but I'm telling you, they colluded against this kid. They colluded against the Sanders family to try and destroy his prospects as a quarterback. But this kid has done everything he possibly could do. He's been respectful. He hasn't disrespected anybody, but they don't care. They don't like the fact that this is a family, a generational wealth building family that happens to be black. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. Hope you subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button, but also share this video.